are starting to let you know when we are live or not live. I am living in a time when things are happening around me which are quite obvious, but to others, they are asking the question, why? Now, this has nothing to do with anything other than circumstance as to why I see this. And therefore, others who have gone through analogous circumstances will also see this. So, what we will have here are people saying, yes, that's exactly right, and others saying, oh, well, I don't get that at all. And who knows what others will say. We'll see. G'day. So, what I want to say is this. I really didn't want to comment on this, but for the last month after month after month after month, I'm hearing people saying to themselves, G'day, Terry Nee and Captain Deltron, some of our earliest, and Boss Briggs, wow, our earliest people from 10 years ago. Pleasure to see you. So we used to talk a lot about politics back in the past, and I thought to myself, I didn't really want to do that again. So I'm going to try and keep it abstract. But I'm talking to three people. I think at least two of them, or if not three of them, are from a place where many people are asking themselves, how is this happening? How is this possible? Well, the short answer is this, that it is always possible and always happening. But the lie that we tell ourselves, family in a stable society, is look how good we are and look how crap everyone else is. This is that I used to hear that openly in the 80s. Now it's sort of hidden and goes into different spheres. But the answer is that there's a few lessons to draw from this. One is this: if you are in a society right now asking yourself, how is this happening? I'm a civilized person. I wouldn't do this. It's the other person within this country that's doing it. Well, I want you to then step outside and look at the country, right, from the outside perspective, and assume someone has the view that that country is collapsing. Now, are they going to realize that you in that country are saying to yourself, thanks, Obama, are you in that country saying to yourself that that there is someone in the original country who is not part of this demise and collapse? No. So from the outside, they'll say, oh, look how stupid that country is, for example, without getting into specifics about the country. Now, if that is happening, think about the times you've done that about other countries, not you in particular or people around you, saying, look at them, they can't run a country. Now, when you say them, right, who is them? Now, of course, naturally, the brain collapses the them into everyone from that country, right? So what's happening is that just like you are asking yourself at the moment, how is this all happening around me? There exist many people in other countries which have gone through collapses also saying, how is this happening around me? And so to conclude from the outside that everyone from a failed country is somehow part of that collapse, or therefore they are not as good or not as competent or not as educated, it doesn't mean it's false and it doesn't mean it's true. It means that there's no connection necessarily between what you've observed and the conclusion you're making. So, for example, let's assume that a narrative in one country right now is that the country where Terry Nee is from, Jenny is from, oh, that country's crap, everyone from there is stupid, for example. That would be to say that these individuals somehow are crap or stupid. Now, if you meet them as individuals, you realize that that's not the case in the slightest. And so I say to people, well, isn't that what others have been doing for years about people in other countries around the world, which have been suffering constant dictatorships, authoritarianism, polarization, fighting, neighbors hating each other? Maybe, yes, we call it stereotypes, a word that itself has become stereotyped. So, what is the point? Well, for me, what is the point? The point is that I don't know what the point is. There's too many points, and I'm trying to not get into detail because if I use the names of countries, then it collapses into people focusing on the events in that country. But internet has exaggerated everything. That is such an amazing line. And the reason I say that is because when people from other parts of the world have said that, then people say to them, oh, you're just denying that your country's crap. And it's so amazing to see it on the other side. So I'll give you an example. In 1987, when I was 6 years old, went to a country that on the news in Australia, yeah, you're in a collapse. Yeah, it's been for a while. Um, uh, in Australia on the news, they were talking every day about this country and killings and deaths and bombs and things. Now, I was in that country at age 6, and I had the most amazing time of my life. And yes, it is true that there was some fighting. I did hear fighting, and fighting for a couple of days did come to us. So this part is true. But 90% of it was so many other things. In other words, it was grossly exaggerated, despite the fact that it's a horror if anyone is to get hurt or killed or die, right? So it's the same situation as exactly what Terry is saying, that the internet is exaggerating it. But what the world sees, you're recovering from disco. I can imagine, stop that disco music. I've had enough, 10 years. You would have had a great time. I can see you would have been fun. Anyway, so the point there is that there is nothing different, but from our perspective, when it's happening to us, we unintentionally make exemptions for ourselves. So when we say make exemptions, that's also not fair to say, because the person is, for example, hey, g'day. The person who is, let's say Terry Nee just made a really good point saying it's exaggerated. And the thing is, from his perspective, it is exaggerated because he's there. But from the outside, it's not exaggerated and he's under-exaggerating. Now, which one is true? Well, the answer is that they're both true depending on the perspective in which you reside. And it's the same thing when you look at, for example, somebody asked me, oh, where's your fiance from? And I said, oh, she's from this certain place. And they went like this to me. They went, eh. The person did that to me, right? Now, this is a normal person. When you say normal, this person is a civilized human being, not someone you'd call a racist, nothing. Normal person, family, kids, lovely, beautiful person, but instinctively went like that. This was quite funny because it's exactly the same thing where the individual. But the thing is, I don't want to blame this person because, again, in this person's mind, they're genuinely thinking, oh my God, like, what are you doing? There's so many killings over there. There's so many, oh, that's a crazy place. But the thing is, again, the person from that place is saying it's over exaggerated. And the same thing happens from the outside. Oh, you're from, at the moment, let's say pick America. You're from America. Ooh, America. They're all killing each other, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, the individuals in America in general are not doing that to each other. So anyway, it was an interesting perspective. And the point is that these problems are much more human than related to a specific sect or culture or ethnicity. Middle schools. Have you got authority to block people, Boss Briggs? I should give that back to you. Everyone else who doesn't know, Boss Briggs used to have that power in Periscope, and I don't know how to do it on YouTube yet. We're still getting used to it. Anyway, I'm going to head off because, as always, nothing is going to change. We spoke about this 10 years ago, and a lot of us know this, and it goes over and over again. We have to remember that time back when, I think in Mississippi in the 1500s, before it was called Mississippi, we had a group, I think, called the Anasazi, and there was a group there that got sick of the people who were rich. One of them ate this rich guy and then defecated his remains into a bucket, and they found the bucket through archaeological findings, which was, as we said, 1500, completely different culture, language, and you get this same type of effect. And anyway, there's so much more to it mathematically, and I got to figure out how to get these lives the ultimate insult. I got to find a way how to get these live casts into something more precise. Because at the moment, I'm sort of still meandering. I've got so much information in my head and not sure what to say, what not to say. Anyway, talk to you later.